Most people don't regret their failures, they regret the chances they didn't take. So in essence, they regret their failure to act. So what is it about fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of judgment that holds people back from doing things? You have goals, you have ambitions, things you want to achieve, character you want to develop, culture you want to create, but for whatever reason you don't take the steps necessary. This is one of those wake-up calls for you. Why aren't you doing the things necessary to take steps towards things you want to accomplish? Does the road seem too long? Does it seem too difficult? You don't believe in yourself, you believe you have the ambition, but for some reason you can't motivate yourself to follow through. It's a good self-awareness question. Why aren't you taking the steps necessary to accomplish the things you want to accomplish? What is holding you back? It's a good question. It's a good, honest, vulnerable question to ask yourself. And hopefully it's more of a curiosity stirring type question rather than anxious driving or anger driving. What do you want to achieve? We've talked a lot about goals and habits. What do you want to achieve? So then what are the things that are holding you back? Do you have fear of failure? Is it fear of judgment? Fear of the unknown? Maybe it's a self-confidence or a self-concept issue. Do you have lack of faith in yourself? Is there something deeper about your worthiness to accomplish things? That's a real thing, and that's something I struggled with for a while. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you have to dig down into your belief system, find out why do you believe the way that you believe, even subconsciously. Things that happen in our childhood do affect us in adulthood. Not a weakness thing. It's a reality. It's a biological reality. So why are people so hesitant to have that discussion? It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're searching. It means you're increasing your self-awareness. There's a lot of people, and it's not about being famous, but we use famous people like Walt Disney and Oprah, who were told repeatedly no, and what was it that allowed them to succeed at whatever it is they were trying to work at? And it was consistency, and it was belief in themselves, belief in their abilities, and belief that they could accomplish something. And it wasn't just them, they had people around them, right? But ultimately nobody, even the people around them, couldn't accomplish those things. It required this type of outgoing personality. Walt Disney was told numerous times no, and he had his I think it was his brother that was his accountant and primary business development person, but business development people don't do as well if they don't have a creative type, right? So yeah, sure, it required more people, but Walt Disney was driven by his creativity. He was driven by his vision of helping people enjoy their lives through cartoon and amusement parks. Oprah was told she wasn't the right fit for television. She literally, she wasn't a fit person. We can't put you on camera, you don't look the type. And she kept pushing because she felt like she had something to offer. And desire does not guarantee success. Confidence does not guarantee success. But lack of consistency, lack of confidence almost guarantees failure. Because probably the number one thing that I've heard, when it comes to, watching stuff on YouTube about how to be more effective at YouTube or social media. One of the things that I've heard that actually has been the most helpful is the really harsh sounding videos of nobody cares. Like, okay, great, you've got all this great information and you're trying to produce YouTube videos and social media content. Nobody cares. It's very similar to that, that empathy and accountability part of something's going on in your life that's really, really difficult. It's not that nobody cares, it's that people have their own issues, they have their own life, they have their own consistency that they have to worry about. They can't constantly be there for you. And although it's nice to have a group of people that support you, nobody can do it for you. I'm talking to a lot of people about this. 13-year-old, he's experiencing the early teenage years, and he's experiencing some struggles. All right, well, you got to choose your friends right, because certain friends might bring you down, right? But also the good ones, they can help lift you up, but it's not their responsibility to pick you up. It's good to have friends that are there, family that are there, but if you're not willing to do the work, if you're not willing to take the steps necessary to do the things, you can't complain when they don't happen. And you can't look back and blame it on certain people. Like, unless there was somebody like legit standing in front of you, holding you back, you can't complain, oh, nobody was there for me. Yeah, they were, but you didn't do the things necessary, right? Yesterday I talked about, if you want to be respected, then be respectable. If you want to be liked, then be likable. Right? Well, if you want to be a successful person, whatever success is defined for you, I'm not talking about building a theme park or starting a talk show. I'm talking about anything from effective, the job that you want, the career that you want, the education that you want, the fitness goals, the education goals, the relationship goals, adventure, all the things that we've talked about. What is it? What does success look like? Maybe success for you is you want a good job that you enjoy, that pays well, so you can go home, you can enjoy your family, you can build that relationship you want so bad. Like that's several goals right there. What's stopping you from taking the step? Things like, an education that might take 3 or 4 years, right? Maybe that master's degree that sounds difficult, and it's going to take 18 months to 2 or 3 years, and it costs money. So what am I going to do about that? There's resources out there, and there's ways to make it happen. If you want to make it happen, it will happen. My daughter's in her 20s. She's going to school. She's in a tough program, and has decided over the last year or two that she wants, not only does she want the tough program, medical program, but she wants to go to med school. There's nothing tough about that, right? And so, at first she was resistant to the idea when I threw it out there. She's like, why would I want to go to med school? That is so expensive, it's so difficult, and I'm going to be going to school for the rest of my life. And I'm like, if you're going to be in the medical field, you're going to be going to school for the rest of your life anyway, right? You might get a degree, you might not necessarily have to go to like formal university type school, but there's going to be training, there's going to be education, there's going to be advancements in medicine, and AI is going to be a huge deal. All these things that are going on, you're going to be going to school for the rest of your life. So if you're going to be going to school for the rest of your life anyway, why not take the challenge early and go do the tough things now? And after a while, I remember one day she called me and she's like, you know what, I've been thinking a lot about that, and you're right. I would not be satisfied with the bachelor's degree and the job that I know I can get. She's super smart. She always has been. But her biggest issue is she's often questioned herself. Can I do it? Am I worthy? Type thinking. And there's nothing wrong with being self-reflective and make sure that you're not taking on too much, because you certainly don't want to do that, because that's counterproductive as well. But this mentality of, oh, I'm not good enough, it's too difficult, will cost too much money. You know, when you're talking about business, you're talking about relationships. What if I get hurt? Well, what if? You know, you're never really going to accomplish anything great in your life if you're not willing to stick out your neck and do the difficult things. Failure is a possibility, right? You hear people say failure's not an option. Well, no, but it is a possibility, and you have to accept it as a possibility. But think about 10, 20 years from now. When you look back, are you going to regret the failure, or are you going to regret not even trying?